Here are the total complaints. Really, the bottom line for this slide is that we're seeing an overall decrease in the number of complaints, which is a good thing. Interestingly, however, the ratio of public complaints to rank initiated, i.e. initiated by other NOPD personnel, is shifting, and now we're seeing more rank initiated complaints, which means that NOPD officers and supervisors are doing a better job at holding their people accountable to the policy. So that's exactly what we want to see. So this one is another success story, and we're impressed with the work that NOPD has put in to make it happen, and particularly with the consistent and strong leadership by Chief Westbrook.
Let's talk a little bit about the Academy. This is another area where the transformation has been astounding. Even though there's more work to be done at the Academy, we are so proud of what they've done, and a lot of people have contributed to this, including now Superintendent Ferguson, Deputy Chief Chris Goodley, and Dean, as I like to call her, Deidre McGee, who's here somewhere, who has really brought kind of an academic professionalism to the Academy that, in my experience, few other academies across the country have. So let's talk a little bit about the work that's been done, the successes, and then a couple of areas that need a little more work. This is one of the scarier stories to tell, by the way, because when we started this project, the Academy, I would say, is in tremendous disarray. When we came, we asked to see the lesson plans, and there were no lesson plans to give us. Okay? The city was teaching new police officers without lesson plans, without a curriculum that made any sense. The materials they were using were tremendously outdated and, frankly, in some cases, offensive. And so we really started near the bottom, and through the hard work of the people I mentioned and the instructors at the Academy and the outside adjuncts that work at the Academy, they've just come such a long way. All the lesson plans have been updated. The curriculum has been totally redone and resequenced. There are policies, there are standards, there are standard operating procedures. The instructor training has gotten better. I can't stress enough the forward-thinkingness of everyone who came up with the idea to have a real academician who's really in charge of moving the Academy forward academically. We observe and monitor the courses. We find the courses getting better and better every time we monitor them, and the content critically is good content. The content tracks the policies and tracks the law. And we definitely need to give a shout out that the department has gone beyond what LA Post requires, certainly, and even goes beyond what the consent decree requires in terms of the number of hours that are given at the Academy. This is, I don't expect anyone to be able to read this. But I did want to have, this is one page among many, many pages of this resequenced curriculum that the department, working closely with DOJ and the monitoring team, put together. This is what didn't exist at first. The concept that, oh, well, if we're teaching class X, maybe we should teach that before class Y. And gee, maybe that relates to class Z, and those have to come in a certain order. This is stuff that at a school like Loyola is done automatically. Everyone does this, but the Academy didn't. Now, through this massive effort, they do this, and this is just, as I say, one page among many. This is just a quick snapshot of a slide showing that, yes, the right people are taking the right courses. When we started this slide did not look at all like this. So this just sums up what we're really finding. Our team has observed, I would probably say, every instructor and every course. I say most because there might be one instructor teaching one course that we haven't got to yet, but we regularly monitor them, and we continue to be impressed with the progress all the instructors are making. Our audits show that, as I said, all the courses have the right content now. Now, the areas where we continue to work closely with the Academy, and we're not getting any pushback from the Academy. This is really a joint effort to just fix the pieces that need fixing. Is we have these concepts we call core concepts, things that go to the very heart of policing and the consent decree. Things like constitutional policing, procedural justice, peer intervention. And what we look for is to make sure that those concepts are really interwoven through all the classes. So if you're taking a class on use of force, the Academy is building in these concepts of procedural justice and peer intervention. And when you're taking a class on, on driving, those concepts are flowing through that as well. So we continue to work to perfect that with the Academy. And also, there is a right way to teach grown-ups, and it differs from the way one teaches kids. And scenario-based learning, adult learning techniques, things that Dr. McGee know far better than I, but those are critical to a great academy in this day and age. Dr. McGee has brought the department's academy very far on that front, still more work to do, and we're working together to bring them that last step. So with that, David and I do want to talk about the areas that require more work. So I'm just going to put these up here because we're really going to use the next page to talk about them. And I'll let David kick this one off.
The lead monitor gets the spoonful of sugar. The deputy gets the medicine. But this slide shows that despite the tremendous progress, there is still some really important work to do. A couple of general observations. We want to be clear, significant progress, not a negative finding. A lot of hard work has been done in all of these areas, and these are some of the most challenging areas because, as we'll talk about in just a minute, many of these areas really have to do with what officers and supervisors do every day over and over, and getting that right really necessarily follows after having right policies, training, and support systems. And then it's just a matter of doing the correctly consistent. Effective compliance is just a matter of continued diligent application of effort. So let's talk about the areas. I actually, on this one, I want to start with community engagement there on the far side. In some ways, it's a little different than some of the others. So we're actually very impressed with the progress the department has made to coming into compliance with the community policing sections of the consent decree, and to really developing a robust plan for community engagement. There's a community engagement plan. There's a manual. They have they're developing now community engagement scorecards. There are community policing signals. So they're really developing and are on the verge of implementing some tremendous tools that will really help the department shift into a true problem-oriented policing approach, which is really at the heart of community policing. So there's been they're doing a great job. This was one of the areas that began to get significant attention later in the process, so it's a little later coming into compliance, but we expect to have some very positive reports coming out about community engagement. I then want to talk about recruitment. I'm sorry, let me touch on the sort of quick bullets on community engagement. One of the areas that we've worked hard with on the department, they were very receptive to our suggestions about geographic deployment, which the consent decree calls for, and our team of experts believes is really essential to effective community policing. So after a lot of work, the department has come up with a plan for geographic deployment of officers that we expect they'll be rolling out soon. We do find that a true problem-oriented approach to community policing has not yet been fully implemented, but it's moving in the right direction. Same with the community policing form and scorecards. We commend the department for the number of public meetings it has, district meetings. We find that the quality and value of those meetings is a little bit uneven, so we continue to improve the way it's using the MAX data. It's a tremendous database that will help the department shift to a problem-oriented policing approach, and will really help the public to understand and to see exactly what the department's doing. And I think it'll be a great device to bring the public and the department together. And it's still a work in progress, but it's going well. Recruitment, I think is a recruitment unit. We're not, the NOPD is still not attracting the sort of the quality or the quantity of recruits it really needs to grow to the levels of force it needs. The vetting, we've been very critical of that previously, and we've